Catherine, Duchess of Kent, has died at the age of 92. Buckingham Palace confirmed her death earlier this month, announcing that she passed away peacefully after a long life of dignity, faith, and quiet service. Her passing has brought grief to the royal family and to the many communities that felt the warmth of her kindness over the decades. Though she often chose to remain out of the public eye, her life was one of dedication to causes that mattered deeply, and her death has left a void that is being felt not just in the royal family, but across Britain. The Duchess was married to Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, a first cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, and for more than 70 years she held her role with grace. Yet she was never a figure who chased the spotlight. Instead, she lived with modesty and faith, always seeking to contribute in meaningful but quiet ways. Her reputation was built not on grandeur, but on compassion, humility, and service. That is why her death has touched so many who admired her, not just as a royal, but as a woman who lived with a strong moral compass. In the days since her passing, tributes have poured in from across the country. Many have remembered her as a royal unlike most others. Someone who lived by her principles and who often chose simplicity over ceremony. Political leaders, charitable organizations, and religious figures have paid their respects, describing her as a woman of deep faith and an unwavering supporter of those in need. The public has echoed these sentiments, sharing memories of her warmth during engagements and her remarkable dedication to the causes she supported. Plans for her funeral have now been finalized. The service will be held on September 16th at Kensington. It will be attended by senior members of the royal family, close friends, and a select group of representatives from the organizations she cherished throughout her life. The funeral is expected to be both solemn and deeply personal, shaped by her wishes for simplicity and her devotion to faith. The choice of Kensington is symbolic, as it is not only tied to the royal family, but also carries historical significance. The service is expected to bring together the royals in a rare, united moment of grief, as they bid farewell to a figure who meant much to them in private, even if she was not often at the forefront of public royal life. Observers believe that the day will be marked by quiet dignity, reflecting her own character and her lifelong desire to avoid unnecessary grandeur. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, was widely admired for her unique journey within the monarchy. In 1994, she converted to Roman Catholicism, an unusual and highly significant step for a senior member of the royal family. At the time, her decision drew attention because of its rarity, but it was seen as a profound expression of her personal beliefs. The conversion did not change her humility or her role within the family, but it demonstrated her courage to follow her conscience. Her faith remained central to her life, and it will shape her funeral service, which will incorporate elements of Catholic tradition alongside royal ceremonial observances. Her devotion to music and education will also be reflected in the ceremony. Throughout her life, the Duchess was a strong supporter of initiatives that brought classical music into schools, often believing that music had the power to inspire, uplift, and unite young people. Many of the organizations she supported have shared tributes since her death, crediting her with providing both financial and moral support that changed lives. It is expected that music will play an important role during her funeral, not only as a form of remembrance, but as a final nod to one of her deepest passions. The royal family has been deeply affected by her passing. King Charles and Queen Camilla are expected to lead the family in mourning. The Prince and Princess of Wales will also attend, alongside the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh and other senior royals. Each of them shared private bonds with the Duchess, who was respected as both a family elder and a woman of quiet influence. Her funeral will be an opportunity for the royals to come together in grief, paying tribute to someone who, while never seeking the spotlight, was always present as a figure of steadiness and care. Although the funeral will be private in many respects, the public has shown deep interest in honoring her memory. Vigils and special church services are being organized across Britain, with communities coming together to pray for her and to reflect on her life. In her later years, the Duchess chose to live quietly, away from the grand demands of royal life. But she never abandoned her commitment to the values she held dear. That is why so many ordinary people feel a connection to her passing, even if they never met her in person. Her legacy extends beyond her faith in music. The Duchess was known for her extensive charitable work, particularly with educational institutions, children's organizations, and hospitals. She often made unannounced visits, preferring to spend time with those she sought to help rather than standing before cameras. Many who benefited from her involvement have expressed their sorrow, with some calling her a true servant of the people. These tributes highlight the difference she made not through speeches, but through actions that touched lives. As September 16th approaches, the focus turns to Kensington, where the royal family will gather to say their final goodbyes. The service will be emotional for many reasons. It will mark the end of a chapter for the family, who have already endured significant changes in recent years. It will also remind the public of the quiet strength that defined her life, a reminder that service does not always require visibility, but rather consistency and heart. The day itself is expected to be filled with solemn moments, prayers, and reflections on her long life. Those who attend will not only be honoring a duchess, but also a woman whose decisions and commitments often went against expectations, but who remained unwavering in her faith and compassion. Her funeral will not be remembered for its grandeur, but for its sincerity, much like her own character. In the days after her funeral, it is likely that tributes will continue to emerge. The organizations she supported will carry forward her legacy, keeping her name alive in the work she began. Her family will mourn privately, cherishing the memories of her as a wife, mother, grandmother, and relative who provided wisdom and warmth. For the public, the memory of Catherine, Duchess of Kent, will endure as that of a royal who lived differently, who chose humility over ceremony, and who made her mark not through titles, but through service. Her death has brought sorrow, but it has also provided a chance for reflection. In a world often captivated by glamour, she showed another way. She showed that one could live quietly, faithfully, and compassionately, and still leave a lasting legacy. Her funeral on September 16th will be the final farewell, but it will not be the end of her influence. Her memory will live on in the causes she championed, in the music she loved, and in the hearts of those who knew her as a woman of remarkable grace. The royal family will gather in tears at Kensington, but they will not grieve alone. Across Britain and beyond, many will pause to remember Catherine, Duchess of Kent, as the nation says goodbye to a woman who lived her life with purpose, dignity, and faith until the very end.